The more information loading will happen. He gets smoked by Grixer, and Sonics take 2 rounds in a row.
I mean, Grixer is putting on a masterclass right now. He is not missing his shots. This is some impressive play from the man.
On July 14th, Playday 7 kicked off with the Sonics versus Mirage. At the time, Sonics were 3rd place and Mirage was 4th place, so this was a very important game for trying to secure their spots in the top 4. The match was played on Chalet, and it looked to be a fairly competitive affair, with the Sonics expectedly taking their attacking half 4-2. For the next 4 rounds, the teams would go back and forth, taking rounds, and then the Sonics would break the trend by taking a 2nd round in a row and winning the game 7-4. There was a Zofia ban in this game, I believe only the 2nd one of the stage. In round 1, Grixer got a 4K. In round 3, Grixer shoots a camera when he has an enemy pinged very close by. He ends up losing the gunfight because of this. In round 8, the Sonics play Castle on Kitchen Dining. In round 9, Mirage do a Solarium side take and get the first play into the game down. And then in round 10 and 11, Rexon gets back-to-back 4Ks, sealing out the game for his team. At the end of the match, Rexon was 18-4, a very impressive performance. 1 kill better even than Hot and Cold's was last week with the same number of deaths. The Sonics had various members of their team popping off at different points in this game. Grixer was getting a lot of kills very early on, then Yeti began to catch him on kills, and then by the end of the match, Rexon had completely taken over. A nice game to watch and a good win for the Sonics. This almost locks them in for top 4 and thus the Mexico Major. In this game, nobody on Mirage went positive on kills or on rating, and Rexon now has the highest rating, KD, and cost in the league.
Bolster their defenses elsewhere. Still roaming, just above. And Rexon, nothing coming of it yet. Nice pre-fire from Quartz. Down goes Yeti. He was one of the biggest problems on this attack, but Super will answer from the A-bomb chassis, continuing to do damage even to Quartz. The pre-fires of Quartz not working out this time, and time is of the essence here for these attackers. With the C4 missing from Grixer, though, that opens up the opportunity for a plant. Down goes loading in the main lobby, though. Quartz with the diffuser in hand has a sliver of HP. It's not going to be easy for him, and he's on the floor too. Another 4K for Rexon, and that's it. GG's. The Sonics will take the match.
A grenade in the hands of Vertical can get dropped down. There goes an Evil Eye. Faceit gets gunned down by Retro in this long position. He's going to try to hide as he shrugs off some damage. Vertical gets Malusi on the swing. It's Retro in a 1v2. Analyst Tessa talked about him. He's going to need to clutch. He's got pings right now, but he doesn't know where that diffuser is getting planted. His position given away off the diffuser. The Nomad, a big clutch from Retro. He shuts the door on OXG, former teammates of his. And he's able to get that diffuser. It looked like he wouldn't be able to, but he did it just fine. First round goes to Disrupt.
Iconics letting him know.
Game 2 was Oxygen versus Disrupt on Cafe. Going into this game, Oxygen was in 7th place and Disrupt was in 6th place. The loser of this game would be very unlikely to make it into the top 4, making this a very important game. And what a game it was. All 15 rounds were required to decide the victor, and in the end it was Disrupt who took it. Both teams took 3 rounds on their attacking and defending sides, and then in overtime, Oxygen took the first round, but Disrupt took the next 2 to secure the victory for themselves. In round 1, we saw a nice clutch by Retro playing the Maestro. In round 2, Vertical plays Amaru, which was the first play of Amaru we've seen in the stage. In round 2, also, we see DP Fire get stuck on top of the table in Fireplace. In round 3, DG almost retakes and disables the diffuser, but they don't know that there's a second player on the roof after they killed the first. Disrupt plays all 4 defensive bomb sites in the first 4 rounds of the game. In rounds 3 and 4, Oxygen start planting with all 10 players up in the lobby. In round 5, Shuttle gets a 4K and a 1v3 clutch. Disrupt, after winning 2 rounds in a row, call a timeout, and I believe this is the first time there's been a timeout called after a team won a round. In round 6, Faceit gets a 4K and a 1v2 clutch. In all of their attacking rounds, Oxygen plants the diffuser, with Kino doing 6 of the 7 plants. In round 8, Disrupt almost gets a flawless round. Oxygen plays all 4 defensive bomb sites in the first 5 rounds of their defensive half. In round 11, we do see a flawless round come out from Disrupt. In round 12, the opening kill comes in the last 20 seconds and the round ends with a 2v2 timeout. In round 13, Kino is able to stop the plant with no time left on the clock, so there was another timeout in this round. Round 14 saw a little bit of back and forth. Disrupt got 2 kills, and then Oxygen got the next 3. Disrupt would get the next 2. Oxygen got 1, and then in the 1v1, Disrupt took the final kill. And in round 15, we saw another flawless round come out from Disrupt. No Oxygen players went positive on kills in this game, and Faceit was the only player on Oxygen to have at least a 1.0 rating. In the first half, Oxygen went 5-1 on entry, but then in the second half, they went 2-4. and they went 0-3 on entry in overtime. By winning this game, Disrupt has a pretty good chance of getting top 4. It comes down to how they and Dark Zero perform more than anything else in the last 2 games.
Oh, they're in, and Vertical's just going to go in swinging. There's nobody there. He's just fighting shadows, gets one before being taken down, and OXG will answer back. Kino looking to go 6 for 6 on these diffusers planted, and by Jove, he's got it. DG will need to re-enter the site and grab that diffuser as well, but times are tough for them. Ooh. Nice shot from Retro, and Iconic to boot. Faceit, the person who got that very first kill, will need to get the last. He'll guard over that diffuser, playing on white stairs, waiting patiently. Diffuser almost at the halfway mark. Returning, it's the Melusi. Retro will need some heroics. Faceit hits the barbed wire, pulls out the SMG. What a clutch from Faceit.
No one's slacking. Look at the scoreboard right now. Literally no slackers.
That is true. And look at this in particular. DG's going to run right in, and immediately Iconic and J9O claim 2. A third, a fourth. Only one remaining. Laxing against the world. A flawless on the board for Disrupt, and he'll be stopped.
Back to Cafe for game number 3, Faceit versus TSM. This is Gio's first game back in the stage after his visa issues, and you might be forgiven for thinking that Faceit had a decent chance of beating TSM in this game, seeing as though it was Gio's first game back, and Faceit was currently on a 2-game win streak, and TSM was on a 2-game loss streak, but it was not the case. TSM dealt with Faceit pretty handily with a 7-3 scoreline. That's not to say that Faceit looked terrible in this game. They had a lot of good things going for them. They just weren't able to close out a lot of the rounds. In the first round, TSM went down to a 3v5, but then they take it to a 3v1 and win on time. In round 3, the opening kill comes in the last 25 seconds. In round 5, Jarvis manages to plant the diffuser, but him and his teammate are killed nearly instantly after, and then they lose the round. In round 6, Bolo got a 4K. We still have yet to see an ace in this stage. We've seen a lot of 4Ks, but no aces. And in this game, Faceit actually won 7 of the 10 opening duels, so they were really good about getting that opening kill. They just weren't good about following it up with a round win. And with this win, TSM is very likely to end up in the top 4 and go to the Mexico Major, whereas Faceit is very unlikely to go now.
A handful of members strung along this entire place, but Eclipse still down low with a possibility to try and stop a plant, but it doesn't look like they're attentive to that at all. Rudy's more than likely going to get this off successfully, and he will. Foes are going to stay on the cutoff sip and worried about the stalls or the bathroom area instead. This is looking like an easy round here for BC, but not if Hyper has something to say about it. He'll take down one, going for the second one, but he's going to get tagged up quite a bit. Eclipse goes in for the flank, but he can't get anything done, simply bouncing back and forth across the walls, but then Hyper will pinch out one inside a bathroom with him. It's 2v2 now for the last 2 remaining Dark Zero members. Rudy will hit the ground, but no, it's a triple kill. There's no way they get through it. Hyper for a quad kill for Dark Zero.
For the last game of the day, we saw Beast Coast versus Dark Zero, and we were back on Chalet again. In what is now classical Dark Zero fashion, the game goes to overtime, and Dark Zero manages to win it in overtime. It's actually astonishing how Dark Zero has taken all but one of their games to overtime, and then the one they didn't take to overtime, they did not even get a round in. Dark Zero took the first 2 rounds of the game, then Beast Coast answered back with 1, Dark Zero 1, and then Beast Coast 2, 3-3 at the half. Then Dark Zero wins the next 3 rounds. They go up 6-3. Beast Coast wins the next 3 rounds after that, bringing it to 6-6. And then finally, Dark Zero wins the 2 rounds in overtime to secure the game. In round 1, Hyper gets a 4K and disables the diffuser. In round 6, Sippin sprays through the master window and gets a double kill. Beast Coast plays all 4 defensive sites in their first 4 defensive rounds. They lose the first 3, but then opt to go for Wine Cellar and Snowmobile Garage. They win it. This is only the 3rd time it's been played, and it's now been won 2 out of 3 times. In round 11, Anthony runs out of the main car garage and gets a double kill. In round 13, the opening kill comes in the last 30 seconds, and Dark Zero wins the round on time. And after this game, Beast Coast now has a record-setting 10-loss streak going in the NAL, which is pretty poor. They've got at least a few points this stage, but no wins. And Dark Zero now has 5 overtime wins. If you disregard the overtime thing, they're 5-1, which I believe ties them with Space Station for the best record in the league technically. But at least now they are in top 4, and depending on how their last 2 games go and how Disrupt's last 2 games go, they have a pretty good chance of going to the Mexico Major by securing their top 4 spot. And finally, we have the standings here. They look pretty similar to what they were last week, but from 9th to 1st, we have Beast Coast, Faceit, Oxygen, Mirage, Disrupt, Dark Zero, Sonics, TSM, and SSG. I think the only actual change might have been that Mirage fell from 4th to 6th, and so Dark Zero went up a place to 4th, and Disrupt went up a place to 5th. Besides that, the only thing that changed were, you know, points and round wins and losses and stuff like that. So SSG is definitely going to the major. TSM and Sonics are probably going to the major, and then the 4th spot will probably go to Dark Zero or Disrupt. Although I think it's possible that Mirage or Auction or maybe even Xset get it, but it's very unlikely. And their fates aren't even in their hands, as they not only have to win, I think probably the rest of their games, but also some weird results, overtime wins or something, probably have to come out from teams above them.
Almost as if you can visualize the way that things are playing out
And you
by
can,
getting an overhead view of the strategy as it unfolds.
Attackers need to locate.
Yeah.
Wow.
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 As all of his friends are dead. Every single one of them gone.